I'm going live on all these. Let's go live. What's going on, everybody? Here's making sure this is here. All right, whatever. Just 1 second. We're just trying to get it rocking for you guys. Yeah, well, there it is. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Welcome to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, the Underground King, Serge Vicente, and today we're going to do something really, really dope for you guys, okay? This is something that I've been working on for a little bit, and I want to make sure we're continuing this for you guys, okay? We're going to have a really dope conversation today, like we always do. We're going to have our roundtable discussion. Now, it's going to be a little different, and it's going to continue evolving into something better, man. But let's go ahead and jump into it, man. So today, episode 231 of the greatest combat sports culture in the entire universe, we are going to go ahead and have not one, but two guests. We're joined by the guru, our brother from another mother, man. We have B. Cam. He is joining the show today, man. We're going to go ahead and discuss. Obviously, he's on the show. We got to talk boxing. But not only are we going to talk boxing today on the show, we also are blessed to have Mystic Black joining us on the show as well today, man. Can't wait to have a conversation with him. So with all the guys, eventually we're going to have everybody on together today, and we're going to have a good time talking fights. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the episode. This gentleman is my boy. He has continued been on the show, man. He is our boxing savant. He is our boxing guru. He is B. Cam. B. Cam, brother, what it do?
Hey, man, I love my intro. I feel like I need that intro everywhere. Anytime I walk into a room, I need Sergio to introduce me. So I appreciate that. Happy to be here. Happy to talk some fights. As always, Let's get to it, my guy.
Let's get to it, man. So check it out, man. First and foremost, before we go ahead and just jump head first into it, man, bro, how are you doing, man? How is it going out there in DC?
Everything is everything. I'm getting a real fall. Boston kind of just like quickly transitioned from summer to winter. I'm getting a nice little fall, getting to work in some new clothes into my rotation I haven't gotten to wear in a while. So it's a nice little time. Still in quarantine, obviously trying to abide by everyone's social distancing rules. But
appreciate you.
DC is good, staying safe, staying active, and having a good time, man. Enjoying myself.
There it is, man.
How are you doing in LA, man?
Look, man, we still can't see the sky. You know what I'm saying? The fire, as I said, it hasn't been over here, but it's been a little gloomy. If you ever have an opportunity to check like the air quality index, a moderate, a healthy index is somewhere around 60, 75, even up to 80, and that's where it's moderate. We're up at about 160 today. So it's pretty much like if you go outside for a walk, it's like smoking a couple packs of cigarettes. I don't smoke squares, so I've been staying my ass in the house right with my air filter. So
I'm about to say, I know that's not the issue for you. You the air purifier guy.
Man, bro, we ain't playing no games. I'm over here trying to like live in my own little hyperbaric chamber and shit. Like I am not playing around.
I respect it. When I grow up, I'm gonna get me an air purifier. I promise.
Look, man, hey, it's not about growing up. It's about having a lady in your life. She does it. I don't do nothing. I have nothing to do with this. So I'll say this. Shout out to Tosh, man, the first lady of the Fight.
5.0.
You know, but aside from that, man, look, man, I'm jealous. You said you guys are getting a change of the seasons. Look, man, I'm a Midwest boy. I'm from Chicago. We're used to having multiple seasons. Even some all in the same day. But here in LA, bro, it's another day of sun, man. It's 75 degrees and sunny, and it's like that all year long. So I don't get no change in weather,
wow.
man. You know,
we feel so bad for you with perfect weather all year round. I empathize with you, Sergio. I'm sorry.
Look,
I'm
I used to talk shit. I used to sound just like you. I did. Until I finally moved out here, bro. Because here's the thing. Since the weather doesn't fluctuate, anytime the weather, I used to be out there in 20 degrees with a hoodie on, comfy. I'm from Chicago. I do this shit. You know, we're good. Bro, a gust of wind blows, I need all kinds of jackets and shit now. This is not fun. Your body acclimates real quick out here.
It does. I feel like your blood gets like thicker and thinner depending on where you live, but your body definitely adjusts.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But look, it is fall, you know, football's back, best playoffs. You know, people, look, man, you my resident NFL guy, man. How was the NFL? Y'all know I don't watch, but at the same token, other people do. So I got to show some love. Bro, what do you think, man? How was week one?
You're right. I do watch. I know people would like to boycott and everything, and I support all of you guys. I'm not afforded the ability to boycott the NFL. I just can't do it. I love football, and I sat there for 10 hours on Sunday from 1 p.m. till about 11 p.m. watching football, and it was so great. Every single year, the first Sunday is just amazing. Like I get a wave of happiness. It's cool, but like this year, like I don't know if it's been quarantine, whatever it was, but this year I was especially happy. I felt like I had like goosebumps. The hairs were standing on the back of my neck because for a long while, I just didn't believe it was possible that we'd have a football season. So to see it actually kick off without any issues at all, thus far, we still have time for COVID tests, but to see it kick off without any issues was just like absolutely amazing. My Giants got obliterated last night, but that's okay. That's okay.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up, man.
It is what it is. I'm a realistic fan. I'm a Knicks fan too, so I got to deal with that. The Yankees not doing well right now, so I get it. I get it from all angles. But as far as
Bears did come back, from what I understand,
that Bears game was pretty amazing.
Granted,
I don't know how they won.
Trubisky's trash, and all of Chicago knows Trubisky's trash. But at the end of the day, especially when we could have picked Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson.
I got you that whatever that wide receiver is, Anthony something on my bench in a couple of leagues. And so I went 2 out of 3 fantasy. That's all I care about for football outside of the Giants is fantasy. So when you play fantasy, you have to understand, you know what every single player is doing at all times.
Well, I love it. I love it, man. We'll talk about some other sports in a little bit, man. But what we're here to talk about,
game 1 with the Celtics and the Heat on.
Game 1 is that's on now, and then later on tonight we have the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, which I've been cracking up watching this entire series. I don't know how other people have felt about it, but at the end of the day, you know what, man? Since I feel like we're already talking about this, why not? Why not? Let's just start here.
Oh, okay.
NBA playoffs. Look, man, we talking about it. We started up. This is something I wanted at the group. Maybe we'll bring it back at the end of the show. But since we already we're talking about it, man. As of right now, we've had multiple Game 7s, bro. How have you enjoyed the playoffs this year?
I'm gonna go A-.
How would you rate A-?
I'm gonna go A-. I think the playoffs have been absolutely amazing. Multiple Game 7s, a lot of game winners, a lot of just amazing play in general. I think Adam Silver and the NBA have done an absolutely amazing job with handling COVID and quarantine and socially distancing and pulling noise into the arenas and everybody. The fans dialing in.
Hey, wait, hold up for 1 second, brother. I hate to cut you off like this, but it seems as if we got a new someone else has joined the chat. Someone else has joined the chat. So let's do this. While we're on the show, man, and this is what I wanted today. I wanted to have this amazing roundtable discussion. As you guys already know, the Guru is on live. We're talking to the Guru, man. But we also have this gentleman coming on, man. We're going to go ahead and bring my boy, Darnell Giovanni, on the show, also known as Mystic Black. Great MMA show. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to check it out already. So without further ado, let's bring the man on the show. Brother, what it do, man?
How's everything? What it do, baby?
How's everything, man?
What up? I'm sorry I'm late. I apologize, guys. I apologize.
No worries at all,
but I am
man.
here. I could not miss this.
Absolutely, man. I love it. Look, man, I love how we're trying to get this going and trying to see how we're going to play with this. So as you guys know, again, I got the squad in here as well. So Mystic Black, my boy D. We have B-Cam, gentlemen. Say what's up. I don't know if you guys
up, B-Cam? What up?
What's good?
So look, man, I love that we're doing this, okay? And the reason I wanted to go ahead and do this today is because I really want us to have an opportunity to sit there and really talk fights, okay? And we have somebody, again, we got people that are lean on the MMA side. We got my brother who leans on the boxing side. And then we got me pretty much dances in the middle. So what we're going to go ahead and do today, man, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So before we get into that, yo, D, we have to talk about, we were just talking about this, man, NBA playoffs. Bro, you down there in South Florida? Your boys are out here in game 1. B Cam said he ranked these playoffs as an A- scale. Man, where do you rank this at this point in time?
I would agree with that in an A- scale on a sense of, there's certain things that are aspects that are missing in the playoffs. Unfortunately, fans and things like that. But at the same time, we have now the most equal gameplay you can ever see because you don't have home court advantage. Now this is pure basketball. You're not relying on, I'm going to go home, the fans are going to give me all this energy, and we're going to win on that side. So it kind of makes everything equal. And teams like the Heat, and by the way, I do support the Heat, but that's not my team. But I support him.
Who's your squad? Who's your squad?
I am a LeBron James fan. So where LeBron James goes, I ride with my boy LeBron James no matter what. So, but love to the Heat though. Perfect opportunity for them to beat a team like Milwaukee Bucks having no home court advantage, and look what they did. They beat them 4-1.
I love it, man. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So, B, you had an A-. You had it as an A-. Any other thoughts on the NBA season, man? Who do you got tonight in tonight's game? Not the Eastern Conference game. We talking about the Western Conference. Does Denver have what it takes to end up going out here and legitimately winning this series?
In any type of sport, I think there's something to be said for people who are showing up to compete and are happy to compete, and then people who are expected to win and they expect to win. And that's the position I think the Clippers are in. I think they've suffered a little bit from playing down to their competition, but I do think Kawhi shows up tonight for Game 7. The Clippers take the win, and we get the LA showdown that we wanted for the Western Conference Finals.
And no, that's for the NBA Finals, because whoever wins that's winning the damn series. We all know what it is.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
It's a wrap. I know it is.
You're a LeBron fan. So
I am. But you know what? Only squad I'm legitimately worried about is Miami. I'm be honest with you. And the only reason I say Miami is because it's a team full of dogs. And here's the thing. If I look over at Boston literally plays with 6 people. They're not deep enough. I look at the Clippers. I don't even think they're going to make it past tonight. So I ain't worried about that. So I'm looking at it. It's Miami. I mean, Miami is a tough, well-coached squad. I'm worried about Miami. That's the only squad I'm legitimately worried about.
They got a tough, deep squad. But the thing is, you got 4 guys on Boston Celtics who you have to worry about at all times that can drop 25 to 30 on you with Tatum, Kemba, Smart, and Jalen. 4 guys. These are 2 very tough guys. There's not 4 guys in Miami who's going to give you 25 points every night. It's going to be 2 of them, and the other guys are going to,
Tyler Hero can give you buckets.
He can give you buckets, but he'll give you like 11 on a random night. It's not he's not going to give you 25, 30, and then he's not going to play defense too. So I feel like a lot of these guys on the Celtics are a lot of hybrid players. They play on both sides. Tyler Hero's not D'ing anybody up. He's not stopping all these guys. You got Marcus Smart playing really good defense. Jalen playing really good defense. These guys are. It's I don't know. That's why I see the Celtics just have a little bit of a better team in the sense of a lot of guys who can do things on both sides.
I like it. B, who you got? You feeling with that one?
I think the Heat play really good team basketball. They play as one cohesive unit, all inspired by your boy Jimmy Butler right there out of Chicago. So I think the Heat put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, I am going to be with Darnell. I think the Celtics do take it in maybe 6 games.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. It's going to be a really good one. It's going to be tight. It's not going to be an easy series at all.
I like it.
Jimmy Butler just took out the Bucks.
He did. He really did. He and the Pacers. He summed them all. Easy. But all right, so check this out, gentlemen. This is what we're here for. We're here to talk fights. And I love the NBA. Aside from fighting, it's my favorite other thing to watch, but we're here to talk fights. And we have not only MMA coming up, man. I got to talk to you guys about a lot of boxing and everything, and I really want to get your guys' thoughts on a couple of these different things. But we're going to start off with is this. Next weekend is the fight weekend of fight weekends. Holy shit. We have UFC 253, and we have the Charlo Double Header. So what brings me to my first question, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with you on this one. with the Charlo Double Header versus UFC 253. Who gets your money? Who should get the money? If we got this is both pay-per-views. Who you got, baby? Let them know.
Sergio, I don't know why you have me here. Of course, the boxing card is going to get my money. I am going to give my money to the Charlos and the doubleheader, the doubleheader pay-per-view that they're doing. They have some really good fights on that pay-per-view, some title fights on the undercard as well. So I think we always talk about what MMA does really well is they tend to stack their cards, and I think boxing has done a great job of that here. And the whole doubleheader thing that they're doing, I think is a really interesting concept. I love when boxing tries new things. So the first fight with I believe, Charlo, that main event is going to be a bit earlier in the day, maybe around 7 p.m. And the second main event with Jamal Charlo, Big Charlo, is going to be around normal time, probably 11, 12, 1 a.m. in the morning. And so that's something that we'll all enjoy. But on the illegal stream, I may or may not have up a little UFC card. I'm damn sure not about to miss it. But my focus and my intention will be all on the boxing card and the Charlos for that night. I'm looking to see my boys walk out of there with their titles.
I love it. Look, man, it's true. It's a tough one. It's super tough. Darnell, brother, what you got on this one?
Listen, I love boxing just as much as the other person does, but in the recent history of my life, I've enjoyed UFC cards more than anything. And we got a future legend in Israel Adesanya about to put a whooping on Paulo Costa. And I feel like that is going to be the fight to watch. That card is pretty loaded. UFC cards always load the cards better than boxing. You know, I don't watch boxing prelims. There's never really good fights on the boxing prelims, in my personal opinion. They don't load it as much. They're very top heavy. So if I'm going to give my money to anybody, it's going to go to UFC and UFC 253.
Now,
no disrespect to the Charlo brothers, though. No disrespect to them because they are excellent fighters. Excellent.
Oh, look, I love both of them. And here's the thing. In a minute, I'm going to ask both of us, and I want everyone to go ahead and actually break down all of these fights that are coming up, okay? But one thing I'm going to say is this. If we're actually looking at it in terms of who is actually really showed out during this pandemic, more than anything else, the UFC has been the leader. They've been number one. They've been crushing everybody. That's not even in combat sports. They're kicking everybody's ass right now, and I say that begrudgingly so at times. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. In this one, not only because of the main event, but also because of the rest of the card. Come on, man. We have not only Israel, the last airbender, Adesanya on this card fighting against Paulo Costa. We have the ushering in of a new era at 205, man. The light heavyweight title is up on the line. You got Dom Reyes fighting against Jan Blachowicz. Those are two fights that really have ramifications. And at the end of the day, those fights, in my opinion, have an opportunity to really give us the theater that we deserve. But the fight between Big Charlo and Derevchenko, I think, is extremely compelling. As so is the fight with Lil Charlo and Rosario. This is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna buy one and illegally stream the others. That's pretty much how it's gonna end up working. But at the end of the day,
can't buy both. I mean, you can, but that's expensive.
Man, it's uber expensive, bro. It's uber expensive, and like I think we all know, man. But I think this is a great one. I really do wish it was not all on the same weekend, man. I want to ask you guys this, and we're looking at the cards. Out of all of the three title, or out of 4 title fights, okay, out of all 4 title fights, which fight has a bigger opportunity to legitimately be an upset? Is it Adesanya versus Costa? Is it Big Charlo, Derevchenko? Is it Little Charlo against Rosario? Or are we talking about is Jan Blachowicz actually going to go out there and get Dom Reyes? Mystic Black, brother, what you got?
I think the biggest upset that can happen is Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes, because Dominic Reyes was undefeated before he fought John Jones. He put up a really good fight against John Jones, so everybody kind of has this assumption like he's going to run through John. John is pretty Dom is a guy who likes to strike. John is a guy who likes to strike, and I feel like he has a lot of power in those hands, and people like to underestimate him too. And the styles matchup, it's just closer than people think. So I think John Blachowicz can upset Dominic Reyes the next weekend, and people are going to be surprised, just assuming that Dominic Reyes is going to run through him because he had a competitive match with John Jones.
He beat John Jones, but
hey,
he beat John Jones.
So each their own on that one. But I just said competitive. I'm not saying who won that fight, but I'm not saying John Jones clearly won that fight. But it's a tough one.
It was a tough one. That's actually a really good call. It could go either way on that one. B, what you got?
So I'm going to say Israel Adesanya. This is a bit more of a casual opinion, but in MMA, you have that anything can happen factor a little bit more than you do on the boxing side. And I think given that Israel Adesanya is the biggest star fighting on that night, if he were to lose, that'd be the biggest upset of the night by far. And just because it's MMA and anything can happen, I think it has the biggest opportunity for an upset.
Now, I'm asking you this. Do you think do you actually feel that this is the fight that has the most potential for an upset? Or do you think that would just be the biggest upset?
The fight that I think has the most potential for an upset would be Jamel Charlo versus Jason Rosario, because we just don't know much about Rosario, and Rosario very well so could be a boxing star, and we just don't know yet. So him showing up with his second full training camp, anything, and he has real power in both hands, anything can happen in that fight. And so I think just based on skill, I think that fight has the biggest chance to be an upset. But, it's not the same. Jamel Charlo has one loss. He's a title contender. But if he were to lose that night, it wouldn't be as big a deal as it would be if Stylebender lost.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. I think if he lost, he that would be the biggest deal out of anyone, because out of all of them, I think he is the biggest star. I think we could all agree on that one. But in terms of for myself, B, I actually agree with you. I think the opportunity for who actually has the potential for an upset is Rosario. I think that dude is scary. And the thing that makes him the biggest underdog is, I think you're right. I think we know the least about him, which makes him terrifying. We know the least about him. He has crazy power in his hands, and that dude is straight terrifying. But I'm be honest with you though, that is really close runner up to the Jan Blachowicz one as well, man. Fam, people look past Jan Blachowicz. He's built like Frankenstein. He barely speaks English. You know what I'm saying? But what he did to Luke Rockhold, what he did to Corey Anderson. Bro, that's the one that got me, was the Corey Anderson one. Because I was like, dude, I did not expect it. I thought Corey Anderson was going to run through him and then go for a title shot. And Jan Blachowicz is the guy that I keep picking against, and he keeps fucking winning.
Every time.
Every fucking time.
Especially recently. I don't know what different training he's doing or different mindset that he has, but he's just been very different in his past couple of fights. That's for sure. Cheers, chin, chin. Definitely
yes,
been
sir,
different.
yes, sir.
No one prepared me. No one prepared me.
Hey, I just had the bottle next to me. All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys this before we go ahead and move on to the next topic. I want to talk about these main events real quick. The ones I really want to break down. Let's talk about. I want to start off with Adesanya versus Costa. Okay. From both of you guys, and I know B, I know you're an Adesanya fan as well, so I know you're privy to this info and stuff here. But how do you guys see, and B, I'm going to start with you on this one. How do you guys see this fight actually going? Do you think this is going to be like, because Paulo Costa continues saying that, look, he's a runner and I'm going to run through this motherfucker. That's what he says. Now, I have my own beef with him calling him a runner, but I generally, like I said, because you said this has the potential to be more so. So how do you feel this fight will actually go?
Adesanya is a very skilled striker. And from what we've seen, both MMA and boxing alike, when you have skilled strikers and a guy that's just going to come forward, they're essentially ready-made for that opponent. They get to easily pick their shots all night with someone that isn't going to move. They're going to be there for them all night. So it really makes it not easy for them. So I think we could see the fight going two ways, both for Israel Adesanya. I think we could see a brutal beatdown over the course of 5 rounds, or I could think we see an accumulation type of knockout in maybe round 2 or 3. I don't see like an obliterating first round knockout, but I think we could see some type of accumulation knockout in rounds 2 or 3, because he should have plenty of opportunities to land his shots.
Absolutely. No, I feel that. D, what you think, man?
I agree with a lot of what he said. I think a perfect fight to watch is Paulo Costa versus Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall was beating him with a jab for like a good round or two until he got tired, and then he ended up getting knocked out. But he was beating him with a jab the whole entire time, kind of counter-striking every time Paulo Costa would throw.
Didn't he drop him all? He dropped Costa.
He did drop Costa in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you think Uriah Hall is not to say that Costa hasn't got better from then, but if Uriah Hall is dropping you with jabs, and you think Israel Adesanya, who's very good with counter-striking, is not going to catch Paulo Costa, who just kind of just rushes forward. And I don't see Costa being patient, because he's never been like that in any fight. Any single one of his fights, he's always going forward. So he's kind of giving Israel kind of an easier fight to kind of pick his shot, just like B said there. So no, I see that fight going same thing that B said. Round 2 or 3, they'll knock him out clean.
Man, you know what's funny? So, how do y'all feel about this, man? And I'll say my pick in a minute. I think everybody, if you follow the Fight Podcast, y'all know how I feel about this shit. but I'll say this. What are your guys' thoughts on people saying, and B, I'm gonna lean on you a little bit with this one to start off, because I know you have your ears in on the pulse of the casuals for MMA. And there's no disrespect to you, because I don't even consider you a casual MMA anymore. I generally don't. But I'm going to ask you this. How do you feel about Paulo Costa and people calling Israel Adesanya a runner? Whoever wants to answer this, y'all.
No, I don't believe Israel Adesanya is a runner at all. He's just not an inside fighter. He's a fighter that knows how to keep his distance, but we've never seen him just run all fight. Do you feel like he ran? What's the last guy, the bald big guy that he ran?
Yoel Romero.
Yeah, I mean, did we see him run against Romero? It was a bit of a boring fight. They didn't strike as much, but he damn sure wasn't running the entire fight. I have never seen Israel Adesanya run. So to call him a runner, I mean, he's just a typical striker that's not going to like push forward recklessly, but he's damn sure not a runner, not in my opinion at all.
I mean, look, I'm glad you said that. You go ahead, brother. What you got, dude?
Yeah, the last time that Israel Adesanya ever ran, if you want to call it running, was against Kevin Gastelum, but Kevin Gastelum caught him with a high left head kick. But like, what do you expect him to do in that standpoint? He's going to stand there and keep getting hit? No, you're going to have to move away from that, because you're a little bit rocked. He didn't run away from Yoel Romero. He fought a very smart fight against Yoel Romero, because Yoel Romero waits for somebody to do something so he can just explode. That's the kind of fighter that he is. Just like Paulo Costa loves to explode in those standpoints. But no, I do not think Israel Adesanya ever runs. And I think Paulo Costa is just trying to get his energy, like trying to get something out of him to make him fight emotionally, which I don't think he will.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think with combat sports in general, you get these more skilled fighters that put on a dominating performance, but they don't necessarily get touched too much. And then people start to call them a runner when they're really just a fighter. Hit and don't get hit. That's the name of the game. And so if you do that well, sometimes you get that reputation, but let's call it what it is. It's not someone that's a runner. It's a very skilled fighter that just beats you up.
Man, thank you very much. And I'm glad you guys said that. And it's true. It's so interesting that people consider that or say that people are runners because of those type of things. It's so strange to me. All right, let's go ahead and move on a little bit, because we still have so much to get to today. And one thing I want to talk about is this weekend, we actually have a couple decent fight cards, okay? MMA honestly this should be a pay-per-view. This weekend is a better card, in my opinion, than actual 253 from top to bottom. It's completely stacked. It's an incredible, but it is headlined by the fight that we all want to see: Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. I'll be the first to admit, this fight scares the shit out of me. And I'm going to say it like this too. The reason that this fight scares the shit out of me, because I don't think Woodley's going to win. And not only do I not think Woodley's going to win, I would hate for this MAGA-loving dude to go out here and start just pumping the horn and start talking bad about BLM and all kinds of stuff. He'll have a huge platform. It will be awful if Colby Covington wins. But there's so much that goes into this fight. I'm going to ask you both. What do you believe is at risk for both of these individuals? Do you think, and who do you guys think is going to win? Whoever wants to take it, go ahead.
I'll go because I just know this the least. But I think for Colby Covington, who none of us really want to see win, what's at risk for him is essentially being Tyron Woodley. He had his title, then he lost his title, fought for it again, took an L, and so now he's in in the MMA world, sort of a crossroads in his career. And if he takes if he takes another loss, he goes to a different place in his career. He goes down the rankings, and he has a long fight back up to the top of those rankings to get another title shot. I think on the Woodley side of things, I really think it's just personal pride and embarrassment. He's been speaking for years about how he's beat up Colby Covington in the gym. Colby Covington it should be an easy fight for him. He's all talk. Colby Covington's running from him. And while that may have been true at some point, Colby Covington made a great choice by waiting to take this fight. So he's taking Tyron Woodley, where he's clearly not in the prime of his career anymore, and he's looked terrible his last couple fights. Lack of activity. I mean, his takedown defense is still there, but that's probably the only positive thing we could say from his last couple fights. So I'm interested to see what happens, but I think for Tyron, it's really just going to be pride, and for Covington, the risk is being Tyron Woodley, which, he's not fighting for a title right now. He's just fighting for pride and fighting for money. The title doesn't matter because he's just not at that level anymore. And he's come to terms with that as well. Absolutely.
I feel you. Mystic Black brother, what you got, man? How do you see this going?
Very interesting take there. I think that for Tyron Woodley, it's his stance in the welterweight division in that elite top 5. If he can't be a guy like Colby Covington, he is no longer in that top 5, and it's going to take him a very long time to get back to a title shot. And I know he wants that title shot back. He beats Colby Covington. Colby Covington is the number 2 ranked welterweight in that division.
In the mix.
He's puts him right back in the mix, even though he took 2 losses to 2 very good competitors in Gilbert Burns.
I mean, it's the guy who's fighting for the title and the champion.
He lost to both guys who are both fighting for that title in December. So he has nothing to be ashamed of there. Definitely, we're going to see where Tyron Woodley is in his career. I felt that he should have taken some maybe sports psychology kind of things, because something is just off there. It's not like he's he is underperforming, but it's not like he's not doing the things to perform. He might have had some like different things that distracted him within the rap career and a TMZ thing and acting and other things that he wanted to concentrate on, which I don't give him fault, because you're in this game of life to do a lot of different things that you want to do. So why not do that while your name is still hot and while you're still popular? So I feel like his stance in the welterweight division is definitely up for grabs. And then Colby Covington is for him to get back to a title shot that he wants so bad. He lost that really good fight to Kamaru Usman. That's what his last fight was, which was a very competitive fight up until that 5th round. Colby Covington,
they got his face broken.
Absolutely, Colby Covington almost won that fight. If you look at the judge scoring cards, he was actually up. So if that fight ended up finishing, he would have been the winner of that fight. And he would have been the undisputed welterweight champion. So he beat the guy like Tyron Woodley, a former champion. That puts him right back in the mix once again, and he can fight the winner of Gilbert Burns versus Usman.
I like it, man. I agree with both of you guys. If you look at it, I think Tyron Woodley absolutely is the guy that has the most to lose in this one. I think if Colby Covington does not win this fight, I think realistically, Colby Covington might end up back on the prelims. He's not an exciting fighter. He's not entertaining. So if he loses to Tyron Woodley, who most of us believe is washed at this point in time, unfortunately, he's going to find himself right back in the prelims. Remember, if it wasn't for his mouth, he was in the prelims until he fought RDA. Was just 3 fights ago.
That's right. So
he is not entertaining. He's not an exciting fighter. This fight is a different type of fight. I think it is a different matchup as opposed to, what we've seen. I mean, Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, especially with their grappling, are much more aggressive. They're going to come at you, and then when they're on you, they're going to hold you down. They're going to beat you up. Colby is just going to try to control you. He's just going to hold you and try to control you, and he's going to try to pitter-patter. What I am concerned about for this fight, though, and this is the reason why, look, my heart says Tyron Woodley, my head says Colby Covington, right? And the reason it is because Colby Covington is one of the highest strikes per minute guys in the sport. Tyron Woodley, the older he gets in his career, he's gun shy, and he doesn't let his hands go in the same manner. If Tyron Woodley cannot figure out a way to let his hands go in this next upcoming fight, Colby Covington is going to pick him apart and just coast into a boring decision. B, what you got, man?
So I think that works to Tyron Woodley's benefit because Tyron Woodley, his activity has dropped in his fights, but what is he? Tyron Woodley is a very, very good counterpuncher. And so he'll have these opportunities to counterpunch, and he doesn't have much power coming back his way with Covington.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then Tyron Woodley fights backwards a lot, but he'll be okay counter-striking with a guy like Colby because he's not going to be afraid to take a shot from him compared to Burns and Usman, who have way more power than Colby Covington. Covington throws a lot of volume, but he's not knocking anybody out. He's knocked nobody out in his career. So I don't see him knocking out Tyron Woodley. But
he won't knock him out.
He's got to be careful with that fighting backwards thing because he'll lose points on the judging scoring cards if it goes to a decision.
Absolutely.
One of the things that happens as a fighter gets older is, they keep some of their traits, and one of those things is power. Power stays with you.
That don't go anywhere.
Your punch resistance goes down. So even a guy like Covington could be a danger for Tyron Woodley at his age.
Yeah. No, I believe it, man. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to anything else you guys want to say about that fight or this upcoming card.
Oh, I didn't give a prediction. Did you give a prediction, B? I don't know if you gave a prediction.
What was your prediction? We'll go each one. What's up? What's your prediction, B?
I'm going to go Woodley by knockout, going with my heart here, and not much to lose as a casual fan. So Woodley by knockout in round 2.
What you got, man?
After the 10 rounds that Tyron Woodley has just lost to those past 2 fighters, there's no way he doesn't come back from that. I got Tyron Woodley knocking out Colby Covington, 2nd, 3rd round.
I agree. I'm going to go the same thing. I got Woodley knockout 2nd, 3rd round. That's because that's the only way I think he's going to be able to win. Just call a spade a spade. It is what it is, man. All right, real quick, I want to touch on this quickly. This weekend, 154 in boxing keeps fucking bringing hits. Erickson motherfucking Lubin is back against Gausha. Bro, this is actually a fight that I think a lot of people are overlooking. B, what are your thoughts on this matchup and what's next for Erickson Lubin if he actually gets past him?
So Erickson Lubin, we have a young fighter. Erickson Lubin is 24 years old, 16 wins, 1 loss. Teral Gausha, I forget how to pronounce his last name.
Gausha, I think, yeah. Gausha, I think you're right. 21 wins, 1 loss. Both 1-loss fighter. Interestingly enough, fun fact, both of those fighters took their loss on the same night. I was there for that. So I had the privilege of being there for that. His brother was there holding it down.
I had the privilege of seeing both of them get their ass whooped in the same night. That was the night Erickson Lubin got his ass blasted in the 1st round by Charlo. And then there was a boring decision by Erislandy Lara.
Yeah.
It was a boring fight, emptied out the entire arena, but beat up Teral Gausha for 12 rounds and won an easy unanimous decision. Now, Teral Gausha has not done much to impress me, but even more so, I mean, he hasn't done much since that loss. He has 1 win against Joey Hernandez and then a draw against Austin Trout, who is no longer anywhere close to his prime. I'm not going to say that he was cool, but I mean, at this point, he's just a journeyman and test fighter. So he couldn't get past Austin Trout, and anyone who's relevant in the division, with the exception of Jason Rosario, has pretty much gotten past Austin Trout at this point. Erickson Lubin, he's taken a little bit of a different path. Since that 1st round loss to Jermell Charlo, he's run off about 4 wins straight. He's been pretty impressive in all of his wins, and I do expect him to get the win against Gausha in a competitive bout that I think will end in a late knockout on this upcoming Saturday. But it's definitely something that people need to be watching. Erickson Lubin is an impressive prospect, even with that 1st round loss. And look, I've gotten away from giving fighters shit for taking losses. It's 1 loss against one of the champions in the division right now. I certainly think he can come back from it. He has, and I think he'll be victorious this upcoming Saturday.
I love it. And I think that's a good pick, man. Brother D, what you got, man? How do you see this fight going, and how familiar are you with Erickson Lubin?
I am not familiar with these 2 boxers. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too familiar with them. What weight class is that? 155 pounds, something
54,
like
that? 54, yeah, 1
pounds.
Is that the same weight class as like a Terrence Crawford, or is that
one weight class above?
One weight class above.
One weight class above. Okay, I do not know too much about these guys, but the way that you guys are speaking about them, I definitely want to check that out to see where they go.
Erickson Lubin's a dog, bro. Erickson Lubin's a legit dog.
It's just going to be on ESPN?
Showtime.
On Showtime. Showtime boxing.
It'll be on Showtime. Yeah, it'll be on. It's not a pay-per-view. It's a regular Showtime.
Regular Showtime. I'm not too familiar with this one, so this is on you guys. You guys can go back with this one. You got me on this one.
Yeah, it's all good. We about go ahead.
I would say it's a good fight to watch out for. Though I'm picking Erickson Lubin, Terrell Gausha is no pushover. He only has one loss, and he does have a deep amateur background. So he's a skillful fighter, not as skilled as obviously as a guy like Erislandy Lara, but he definitely can give Lubin some issues with his movement. And Lubin isn't like an idiot. He can fight, he can box, he knows how to get that left hand off what you call his hammer. So I mean, he's someone who's been very impressive thus far. But Terrell Gausha is no pushover. But like I said, sticking with Lubin for the win.
I love it. No, Erickson Lubin's great. I'm going with Lubin as well. I think he's going to look good in doing this one, and he's going to be a problem at 54 like he's always been. All right, so check this out. Let's keep it with boxing a little bit, but this is something that I'm open the floor to everybody because I think all of us paid attention to it, especially when we're talking about, to be honest, most of our number one boxer, pound for pound guy in the sport, talking about Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is suing Golden Boy and DAZN. Canelo versus Golden Boy versus DAZN. How do we think this ends up? And I'm going to be honest with you. Let me take this one from the beginning. This is ugly. This is very ugly, man. And this is something that we've seen time and time again with boxing and their promoters. I hate to say this, man. DAZN did not come up with their end of the bargain. The fact that DAZN is going out there saying that top level fighters aren't prime fighters. They're not legitimate guys. And they want Canelo Alvarez to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov and Jorge Masvidal and Oscar De La Hoya, but not fight actual boxers, I think is a issue. And from a birdie told me, and it seems like it's coming in, it does not seem as if DAZN is going to be in the United States for the next 6 months. I think they made a mistake with this. I think that they dropped the ball consistently. I think what's going to end up happening, I think Canelo will eventually leave Golden Boy as well. And he'll end up probably promoting himself, to be honest with you. Anybody, like I said, go ahead.
Since I know less about this, but I can definitely speak on behalf of Canelo Alvarez is a fighter who's never backed down to anybody. He's fought who's a name. He's always going to fight. He's always going to put up a pretty good fight. He fought Triple G twice. He's fought up in weight classes. He keeps going up to fight different people in weight classes. And when he signed that DAZN deal that worth, how much was it worth? Like $300 million?
$350 million, something like that.
$350 million.
Yeah, I was always just skeptical about that. And DAZN being a new company too, to like give him that kind of a deal and for them to keep their part up going, because a lot of boxing promoting is just sketchy to me. I don't know, especially with Golden Boy and just like the first Triple G and Canelo fight, which I felt Triple G won that. Like there was no doubt about that. Triple G won that fight, but it ended up being a draw somehow. Not saying boxing is fixed, but something there is a little skeptical to me. And I never been.
Don't get it twisted. When it's Canelo, it might be fixed.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
To be honest, and I'm not a big fan of Oscar De La Hoya. I think Oscar De La Hoya has a lot of issues mentally and a lot of business issues too. I know he's made a lot of money for people and himself at the end of the day, which is probably more important to him. But this is going to be. I think this is going to end very nasty. And Canelo should have been in a business of just promoting himself like a Floyd Mayweather, who has his own promotion. How is a guy who's the top 3 most popular fighters not promoting himself and still under the banner of other promotions?
Yeah. What you think, B? What you got?
Well, to respond to Darnell, what Canelo did wasn't, I think it was smart. People aren't buying pay-per-view in the same manner that they once were. And so Canelo Alvarez has guaranteed himself at least $30 million a fight. That's a guarantee. It doesn't matter who buys pay-per-view. None of that stuff matters. He doesn't have to worry about promoting himself. He knows that he steps in the ring with the people he wants to step in the ring with. He's going to make at least $30 million a fight. So with people not buying pay-per-view like they used to, that's going to be a security blanket for Canelo. Now, Canelo is not a big a star as Floyd Mayweather. So while Floyd Mayweather had a lot of success promoting himself and fighting under the Showtime banner, Canelo Alvarez, he's close, but he'll probably never be at that place in his career just due to the fact that he doesn't speak English as well as Floyd Mayweather, and his personality is just very different as well. Floyd Mayweather can easily promote himself because he talks a lot of shit. That's never going to be Canelo Alvarez, and maybe with the Hispanic-speaking audience, it'll be a little bit bigger, but that's just not his. While he's known to the general public, he's just not going to have the same impact that a guy like Floyd Mayweather has. So it was a smart deal. If you say that you're going to pay me $30 million, no matter who I get in the ring with, then I'm damn sure going to sign that contract, because that gives me security for the rest of my prime. And even as I start to get
so we see that, B, but how do you see this? Yeah, so go ahead. Yeah, that's what we're going to get to.
The issue that comes into play here, and you started to speak about it, is Golden Boy. That's the common denominator, because DAZN seems to have issues with Golden Boy. Canelo, we know, has issues with Golden Boy. Now, why does DAZN have issues with Golden Boy? Why does Canelo have issues with Golden Boy? What is Golden Boy doing on the DAZN side of this lawsuit? Well, what's going on is that Canelo is alleging that Golden Boy made promises on his behalf that he didn't clear. So Golden Boy promised DAZN that trilogy fight with Triple G. That trilogy fight has not happened. And though Canelo was a little bit more open to that trilogy fight than he once was, because at a certain point he hated Triple G. He did not like how he handled Canelo testing positive for the tainted meat. And so he didn't want to give Triple G another payday. And he understood that Triple G needed him for another payday. So Golden Boy goes and promises DAZN that they're going to get that third fight with Triple G, where Canelo never knew anything about that promise. So now here DAZN is expecting that third fight with Triple G. Canelo is taking on other big name opponents, but not Triple G. And DAZN at a certain point is getting fed up. They want to see that third fight materialize with Triple G. And now they're trying to hold their money, and they're saying, hey, if you're not going to fight Triple G, then we're going to cut your salary. And that's where they're at now. Canelo's like, hey, I had a contract that said I was gonna make at least $30 million a fight. Now you're telling me something different. That's an issue. Golden Boy, I've already had issues with you. Come to find out that you promised DAZN that I would fight Triple G. I never ever said that. And now you have me looking bad. And Canelo likely will not fight in 2020. And that's a huge loss for a fighter that is absolutely in his prime.
Big money loss.
Oof, it's terrible, man. I think it's a misplay. I think Canelo's doing what he has to do. You got to fend for yourself in this manner. But it's really unfortunate what's happening right now with that, especially being that he's the biggest name in the sport. All right, moving on.
Well, the other side of that is going to be, does it when you're talking about this much money? If they're looking to cut your salary from $30 million to $15 million, it's still $15 million. And that's the other argument for this conversation. I'm on the side of Canelo, like, make your money, you're owed that money. And if they're not going to give you your money, release you from the contract. But that's the other side of the conversation.
Absolutely. No, I hear you, man. And let me ask you guys this real quick. One word answers from both of you. Does Canelo stay with Golden Boy? Is Canelo going to be with Golden Boy in 2021? Yes or no? B?
Yes.
D?
No.
Ooh, all right. We will definitely find out. Okay, this is gonna go ahead, and this actually deals with a little bit of both. Okay,
just so you know,
you don't want me to move on, do you?
I want to add that Golden Boy has a force majeure in their contract, and that's going to bind Canelo because it's obviously like COVID is an otherworldly event. So that's gonna work in Golden Boy's Boy's favor. My bad.
No worries at all.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I'm glad you brought that up. All right. I do want to talk about this though, because I know we have a little limited time, and I don't want to take up all y'all time today. But I do appreciate both of you guys coming on, man. I love doing this. I hope we get to do many more of these, man, because I think a roundtable discussion, is really dope, especially when it comes to topics like this one. Ugh. This past week. Here in Cali, unfortunately, Donald Trump was here, and he met with Dana White, Henry Cejudo, Justin Gaethje, Roy Jones Jr. My question is this: with everything that's been going on, I find myself troubled by these athletes of color, black or brown, and you forget Justin Gaethje's Mexican, following behind somebody, in this manner, who is actively been speaking out against people, literally said a couple of days ago, or one of those damn Woodward things, I don't give a damn about black people. Literally says this shit, right? He goes out there, this is all going on. Is it not interesting? And I've been peeping this recently in MMA circles, and now especially even with people like Roy Jones, and what is up with athletes and these athletes from this the sport that we love really being conservatives and conspiracy theorists. What's that all about? What do you guys feel about this?
I got a couple different thoughts on it.
Please.
One thing, I'm not going to look forward to guys who get punched in the head daily for their decision makings to be correct, because they're definitely not thinking right in a lot of decisions that they make. Two, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Whatever they feel, whoever they want to vote for, they feel confident in this person. Go ahead, do whatever you got to do. But at the same time, it's a little weird because a lot of these guys are like children of immigrants. And Donald Trump is not the biggest fan of immigrant people coming to this country. He literally wants them not to be here, and he wants to get them out as much as he can, because that's his thing. Make America great again. Make America fill in the blank again, specifically what he wants to do. So that's kind of a weird thing to see. Henry Cejudo, a son of two Mexican parents. Justin Gaethje is half Mexican. Ali Abdelaziz is not from here, and he has a really sketchy background. And that kind of shows you who can meet Donald Trump, because you have to do an extensive background check. And for that guy to pass something like that, either Dana White has a lot of pull with Donald Trump, or it's easier than everybody thinks to meet a guy like Donald Trump. So that was kind of confusing to me. But at the same time, these guys are gonna kiss up to the boss too, because Dana White, that's his best friend. Donald Trump has done a lot for MMA too. That's another thing. But I don't know when it comes
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, if you kind of put the politics with that too, it kind of doesn't make sense. A little confusing. Roy Jones Jr., on the other hand, he has like dual citizenship with Russia, and who has connections to Russia too. So I'm not surprised that all of these things are just like coming together. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we're going to see these things happen all the time within combat sports and in sports, period. And that's all I can say about that.
Brandon, man, what you think?
I don't have a long take on this, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and echo Darnell. I think it's trash. I think it's terrible. A lot of fighting is a broke man's sport. It's not like a lot of rich kids that come in. It's not fencing. Fighting is a broke man's sport. And it feels like a lot of these fighters have turned their back on the communities that they've come from. And that is trash to me. A guy like Roy Jones Jr., I'm a fan of him. I'm not sure what's in it for a guy like that. Maybe you have some of the employees of the UFC just doing what they need to do to make sure they're in the good with Dana White, which I can understand to a certain extent, because Dana White gets smoke with you, you'll be out the UFC, and then how you going to feed your family? That's something I understand a little bit more. But I think overall it's trash. You have these guys that they come from nothing, they rise to stardom through the fight game, and now you have them essentially kissing the ring with a guy like Donald Trump, who's been terrible for our nation and terrible to our community.
These dudes are straight neo-colonialists. And for those of us who don't know what that is, it's literally somebody who hates themselves and hates their own people. It's crazy to me to sit there and actively salute and be friendly and and just kiss, like I said, kiss the ring to somebody who actively speaks out against people that look like you and your family and things like that. It blows my mind. It makes me sad, because I don't know if you guys ever have an opportunity. You go through the comments of especially MMA blogs and stuff like that. Holy shit, man. The MAGA runs deep through that shit. 100%. And it breaks my heart. I mean, D-Man, you in Florida, you understand. I mean, it's one of those things when we look at this, it really rubs me the wrong way. And here's the thing, I'm going to say this. I've always stated that individuals in MMA, I always give them benefit of the doubt, because a lot of us are college educated. A lot of these are intelligent individuals. So what the fuck are they doing when they're literally dropping the ball, man, and hanging out with this goofball, man? And again, for a photo op, for a pic, it rubs me the wrong way. Dude, I saw Rashad Evans liking multiple Donald Trump tweets. Rashad fucking Evans. Bro, it makes no sense to me. And I'll also say this. I've been picking Roy Jones Jr. to win. Mike Tyson gonna knock that motherfucker's face off. So I say about that one. There it is.
Rashad Evans has been knocked out a lot of times, especially later in his career. So once again, I'm not trusting these guys who just kept getting hit in the head. They're not making any sense. They're not making any sense.
It's a
Justin
terrible
Gaethje,
thing.
come on. Justin Gaethje's been hit a lot of times, man. There's no way this guy's making correct decisions when it comes to things like that. He's got no time for that, but that's my personal opinion.
No, I'm with you guys. I'm not mad at it all. I definitely feel you. All right. We'll just move right along, man. Hey, this has been fun. I definitely wanted to get all these in here. Let's see. What other questions do I have for you gentlemen today? We had the Woodley. We got Canelo. We got this. We had this. Oh, we have to finish with this one. Look, man, this is the Fight Podcast. We are the greatest combat sports and culture show in the universe. So with my brothers here, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about some culture. Yo, what have been the best albums of 2020? Look, there's been some heat. I've been loving all kinds of music. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to watch the Versus battle this weekend. I felt like I was at my grandmother's house. And I loved every bit of it.
Shout out to Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. That was amazing,
dude. Hey, real quick, little story, man. Gladys Knight is actually a friend of the family. My grandfather was actually her mentor. So interesting. I knew her from a little kid and shit. So I don't know. So I was always a fan. All right, but damn that, we talk about some good music. What y'all got? I'll give y'all my picks. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, gentlemen.
Oh no, I want your pick. I want your pick.
Man, what have I been vibing to? Okay, so check it out. I'm not gonna take one of yours because I know one of them, like I said, you're probably gonna talk about recently. But as of right now, my albums of the year, I'm rocking with Freddie Gibbs. I think Freddie Gibbs,
that was one
Alfredo.
That's one of mine.
Man, it crazy. I look at Alfredo was nuts. I have to also go with Royce the 5'9" Allegory. My God, amazing. Also, shout out to Royce the 5'9". He's a huge boxing fan. Got to show some love to Royce the 5'9" there. And also, look, man, I'm a big Sean fan, man. Big Sean came out with some dope music this past week, #1 album in the country. I fuck with Big Sean. Pop Smoke also had a really dope album this year. So I'll say if I get 4, those are the 4 that I can think of off top. And that's just hip hop. I got some R&B in there if y'all want, but fuck it.
I got 2 that were different from what you just said. You said 3 of them that I was gonna say already, but I'm
gonna say them shit still. Let them know that's a good ass album.
The Big Sean album is really good. He really went in and he got very personal with that album. He didn't have to do that, and I felt that he did a really good job with that. Even though it was like a longer album, 20 songs, but it was a very good amount of like quality music, and not that much quality music comes out in the past couple of years. And I feel like when you get an artist that can provide that kind of music for you, you definitely want to stick with that. His girlfriend Janae Aiko dropped a very fire album this year. That was amazing. I'm forgetting the name of the album off the top of my head, but it's her most recent album. That was
it was like fuck niggas or some shit. I don't know. Some shit she be saying. She wild.
Well, she's checking up on spiritual man, and I appreciate that.
I do appreciate it.
And then I got this artist. Her name is Orion Sun. She dropped an album called Hold Space for Me. She's really good. You should check her out. It's like a really good like space kind of like R&B that is just beautiful, and her voice is beautiful, and she produces all of her music. You should definitely check out.
I love that.
Hold Space for Me. That's a really good album this year, and one of my favorite albums that I've had on repeat.
Oh, I love it. I'm an R&B dude, so I love that. I'm gonna definitely check those out. B, what you got? What's your albums of the year?
So I look back a little bit. I got a Lil Baby, My Turn. That album is cracking. I slept on it for a little bit, but definitely went back and listened. Definitely deserves to be in that conversation. Also, a Hidden J album, J Electronica, Written Testament.
How'd I forget it? That was this year.
That was 2020. I just
we've been waiting for that for ages.
So I'm a great album.
I'm gonna throw that in there. Davies, Karma 3. That's been heavy in my rotation. A solid project. Conway recently dropped.
Conway, the Conway album.
From a King to a God. That's an amazing project. He really did his thing on that. And last but not least, you know where I'm going. My guy, Freddie Kang, Gangsta Gibbs, whatever you want to call him. Freddie Gibbs with Alfredo. It's my #1 album of the year.
Man, hey, all great albums, man. Freddie Gibbs has been coming with some heat recently.
Oh yeah, he ain't stopping. He's on the Conway album. Like, I mean, he's on a run.
Killing it. He's on a serious run.
Great follow on Instagram too.
Great follow. Oh man, with him and Tyler the Creator a couple of days ago, I was weak. I was laughing my ass off. Dude.
When they were talking on the Versus chat.
Oh no, not even then. Fucking Tyler the Creator slid into his DMs and sent him like a picture just of him like a selfie, and
Oh my God.
Freddie Gibbs posted it on the story. Was like, the fuck.
Gotta love
those dudes are great, man. Gentlemen, this has been fun.
The Heat and the Celtics are going to overtime.
Yes, they are in overtime.
Seriously.
I kept looking to my left because the game is good. It's crazy right now. See, this series is gonna be like that in every single game for sure. Good guys.
So we all keeping with the A minuses. We moving it up.
I'm still gonna stick with A minus. I'm still gonna stick with that. I'm still gonna until when the playoffs is over. I give an accurate a prediction of not prediction, but just like answer for that.
There it is. Well, we'll bring everybody back. We're gonna do this again, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today, man. I want to make sure I want to have these roundtable discussions. I think it's a lot of fun. I think we get a lot of positive information in here. And again, it's just fucking dope ass content, man. So without further ado, man, before we get you out of here, D, what's up, man? D, let them know where to find you, bro.
At Mystic Black MMA on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. At Mystic Black MMA, hit me up. We can talk. Do a podcast every Thursday. Sometimes it's on Wednesday. It depends, but I always let you know beforehand. Got merch. Got a lot of things if you want to buy, and we're just gonna keep this moving. And got some good interviews coming up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, fire interviews, man. Just had a great interview today with Ricardo Lama, man, Chicago's very own. I don't know if y'all noticed, I was a teammate of his for a second because MMA Masters was actually here in Chicago. It was not here. It was in Chicago, and I was part of MMA Masters Chicago for a while. So yeah, so I worked with him a little bit back then. But real nice guy, man. Happy that he went out on a win. So salute to Ricardo Lamas, and brother, salute to you, man. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Always.
Absolutely. B, man, where can they find you, my brother?
Yes, sir. Per usual. Thank you for having me. I love to be here. Love talking with you guys. It's been a great chat. You can find me on Instagram at BCam13. That's BCam with 2 M's. And on Twitter at BCamThinks. That is BCam with 1 N. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we will absolutely see y'all next time right here on the Fight Podcast. See y'all. We're getting closed out real quick. Thank you so much to my guests, man. These men are incredible. I'm telling you, if you're not checked out Mystic Black, see his show. Great interviews, great merch, great content. Check him out, man. Also, great follow on IG. Check out BCam. So that's BCam Thinks on Twitter. So check him out there, man. Great. Both of them good dudes, man. Amazing guests. And they're doing some dope ass shit. Do not forget, each and every week we are brought to you guys by Everlast. We are brought to you by CBD Pure. And we are brought to you guys by Nug Club Official. So go ahead, apply promo code The Fight, and you will get some little bit off on each one of those things, man. This has been your boy, host Serge Vicente, the underground king of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, The Fight Podcast, man. You're watching us live. We were live today, man. Love you guys. Thank you to my guests, Mystic Black and BCam13. BCam, love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you all next time.